Hello, everyone. Welcome to the grand finale of our Timespinner Randomizer race tournament. We have some really great players today. We have Planeswater versus Crimdahl. Crimdahl, the winner of the winner's bracket, and Planeswater fighting their way through the loser's bracket to have their grudge match back with Crimdahl. I am Llama, and I am joined by Jim the Eternal. Welcome.
Hello, thrilled and honored to be here.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good.
It's going to be so good. If Planeswater wins, since this is double elimination and Crimdahl has not lost at all, we'll have to go again if Planeswater wins. And that's, I think, what we're hoping for is that all the content that we could possibly wish for. I need to drop the gate, and they will be on their way shortly. I am excited. Crimdahl has had a lovely break while the lower bracket has figured out who was going to the top. And Planeswater made it through the developer gauntlet as well as taking out several very strong contenders and has earned their place in the finale.
Planeswater, a relative newcomer to the scene, going up against Crimdahl, honestly the odds-on favorite at the outset of this tournament.
I would say so. But it's going to be close, I think. There's some really good movement between the two of them. And they're off. Let's see what Mom has. Ooh. Forbidden Tome Plus. That's good.
This is one of my favorite orbs because it is a ranged option, as so few orbs are. Mm-hmm. It's also an indicator that we'll have Jin Inferno Plus at some point later on in the run.
Really unnecessary, to be honest.
Absolutely.
We have
Bosses are gonna melt.
We have a question in chat. Will they be back to back if we get two? Yes, it will. We'll be taking off right away after this race if Planeswater wins. Arrow speaking cursed words in chat, saying that we're going to find Jin Inferno Plus in Regret Chest.
Yeah, right next to Sash. We're seeing both of our runners start off with a trip to the left side of the world. Most likely, they're going to grab one of the chests, or maybe both of the chests in this area, and then go a little bit further out just to hit the warp, and then head off to the right afterwards.
They do have a source of pink now, so it means they can get pink room on their way through the castle. They also got a really late game armor piece. I didn't see which code it was, but it was one of the two good ones. Starting orb is Forbidden Tome Plus, and the spell, I think, was Arm Cannon? Plain.
So we're already seeing some really, really crisp execution from both of these runners. Very precise movement, very specific jumps in order to get over or past enemies. This is where both of these runners excel, in my personal opinion. They've just been really excellent and smooth throughout the entirety of the tournament.
Yeah, both of them are hoping for the Twin Pyramid keys on the right side here. And that's why they went and booped that warp to make that excursion over to the left worthwhile.
Both of our runners have previously been in the habit of checking the Siren Cave, top of Upper Banishment, right?
Upper Banishment, yep.
And no change from that pattern here. Both of them are hitting the warp point, and then they're going to head over to the left in this underground area to check the top part of the Upper Banishment Cave. There's a bunch of checks there that are underwater that they can't get right now. But this is part of the...
Yep. Go ahead. Sorry.
This is part of Sphere 1, stuff that is always accessible and has high potential to have some of the necessary progression that our runners are going to need in the early game.
It used to be people would avoid this area until they got Water Mask, because there are those chests underwater down here, but it's been proven a few times here and there that something important was here. Both of them did hit that save, though, so they can save Scum out, and to the castle they go.
Yeah, this is one of the more out-of-the-way areas to check in the initial part of the game. So people have a lot of different ways that they've been routing it in, but it just really hurts to miss, double jump or celestial sash when it should have been that easily accessible.
Yeah. Got plain Empire Orb. Not sure they'll change off of Forbidden Tome Plus. Empire Orb is the strongest base orb in the game, but Plus does double your damage and can hit things through walls, as we can see there, and pierces enemies too. So even if it hits something, it'll keep on going.
The Forbidden Tome is an example of sharp damage, and the Empire Orb, the only example in the game of Empire damage, which gives it its own kind of value, even if it's not plus.
Technically aura damage.
Is it aura?
Aura, yep.
You never know with these things.
Because Aura Blast and Aura Serpent are also this type. Designed as a counterbalance to Plasma type. Mark has a good point. There was the glass pumpkin in that area they save scummed out of. And if they have to do struggle juggle with time stop, it would possibly come in handy to have that glass pumpkin, which essentially doubles your time stop juice.
We're seeing the gas mask out of the one of the upper chests here in the initial parts of the castle, which means no long hunt for the gas mask later on.
And no will they, won't they on doing the Maw out of logic.
Mm-hmm. This is going to streamline some of the routing decisions that they're going to have to make later on.
Some comments about the aura type for Aura Blast. A lot of people mix it up a bit because the orb associated with it is blunt damage. And it's one of the few orbs where it doesn't match its own spell. There are a few others that are like that, but mostly the orb will match its own spell.
Now seeing our second plus orb for the run, we have Umbra Orb. Planeswater immediately switching over. Crimdahl opting to keep the swords.
It looks like Planeswater put it on a different
put it on
loadout.
Off it. Yep.
Yep. But the little birds down here are super weak to it.
Really smart tactically switching the orbs for different enemies. You don't see that very often.
Ooh, got the water mask in the basement loop. Pretty good.
So this is a situation that I haven't seen that many times, where so far they have the water mask, but no vertical. The next step over here in the castle is to take out the golden idol, but in order to get there, you need some form of vertical. You need time stop, you need double jump, you need sash, you need light wall.
Are they going to check the one chest area underneath golden idol, or are they going to double back to Lake Serene? It looks like Planeswater is going to keep going.
Yep.
What about Crimdahl? Where are you going? Looks like
Crimdahl
also going. Because imagine if double jump or sash is over here.
Right. Yeah, that would really speed them on their way. But if there's nothing there, which is the most likely case, it's somewhat out of the way for not a whole lot of value.
Nothing!
2 checks here and nothing.
They are save scumming out because there was that save right by the exit.
Smart.
And so is Crimdahl. See, very galaxy brain moves on our two runners at the same time.
Very smart sense of how to traverse the castle and where they can find little edges to save time. Very much appreciate it.
Where to damage boost, where to jump, where to kill certain enemies. Those giantesses are kind of hard to get around unless you have a little bit more movement.
We're seeing both of our runners pretty much follow the same path. Planeswater very slightly ahead of Crimdahl. And but this is absolutely anybody's race right now. There's so much still left to find. There's a whole bunch still to come.
Yep. They don't have a fire source, so they may leave Upper Lake Serene for later. We're getting
Planeswater hesitating briefly at that fork. I guess debating whether or not to go to the upper caves now that they have water checks.
We got Sea Key card in... Oh, and Waterfall was actually worth it.
Waterfall in the lake. Oh, yeah. The
and
Timespinner wheel, rather, in the lake.
Mm-hmm. And Sea Key card may be required, maybe not. So both Waterfall checks are actually something. Gonna use Time Stop to get to Bat Ledge.
No value on Bat Ledge.
Crimdahl going back to the castle because technically you can get to the Golden Idol with just Time Stop. Also, you can do Bombardiers.
Ah, Bombardiers is a good idea too.
DT card D. Okay, so it was just for Bombardiers. I figured it would be a little bit much to go all the way back for Golden Idol.
Another one of those slightly out of the way checks that if you don't get it,
it had DT card. So
yes, very worthwhile. Well, potentially worthwhile. We don't know if they're going to need it, but
depends on their warps.
Absolutely.
We won't know until we find it.
Yep, once we find out where the warp is in the present, once our runners get their pyramid keys, then we'll have a little bit more information.
Looks like Crimdahl also going down to clear out the upper banishment area.
Crimdahl now a little bit behind. Ooh. Oh, Succubus hairpin. Let me finish that thought. Crimdahl now a little bit behind because he went out of the way in order to get the Bombardier check. But if that D key card proves valuable, then that's going to be a big time save for him.
And sometimes people kind of forget Bombardiers because it is, kind of near a warp, but it's only one check. And you usually have to skip it while going through the castle.
But we have found our vertical. Planeswater with that double jump in hand, now heading off to the left side. So still opting to take advantage of that water mask and go through the Lake Serene checks here.
I believe you can clear out the Maw Caves with just dash and double jump. So it would be smarter to leave Elana's Tower for later.
Especially if there's going to eventually be a sash somewhere in the meantime.
Technically, you can clear out Elana's Tower because they have wheel, but we're hoping they don't have to do that.
Crim also skipping the pumpkin. Yep. So if they do need to struggle, it's going to be an even bigger struggle.
That poor little
and
pumpkin.
Here we see a major divergence. So Crimdahl now heading right. Yes,
yep, going back to the castle.
Right. Going back to the castle, going to fight the Golden Idol probably, and make his way up Elana's Towers.
Interesting. Planeswater going along the top of Lake Serene. I thought that it would not be a call, but I guess there's quite a few checks up here anyway, with double jump.
Planeswater most likely checking these first few checks. No fire, so they can't burn the vines, but then routing back down in order to get all the underwater checks.
And going to the castle now?
This is probably a
Cantoran.
Off check. Yep.
Oof. Edie. If you skip over that intro cutscene a little too fast, then Prince Nubius cheats a little bit and hits you with his Aura Blast.
This is a fairly endgame boss in a fairly endgame boss location. So,
he's also only weak to Plasma, so just gotta pick your best plus orb and hope for it.
The Forbidden Tome is definitely a decent choice here. But regardless, it's going to be a bit of a slog. There's going to be a lot of HP to chew through. Planeswater
still working away up this. Crimdahl heading into the castle to go to the Golden Idol spot, and maybe relying on his ability to struggle juggle to clear out Elana's Tower, because it's all technically possible.
Planeswater now to getting the underwater checks in Lake Serene.
We saw some very nice orb swapping technique with Planeswater, where you quickly switch off of your current set and then back, which refreshes the cooldown, but does not get rid of the hitboxes of your attacks. So you can get around slow attacks that way. Crimdahl going into Golden Idol, and we have the Azure Queen, who is weak to that Umbra Plus, who is also doing that orb swapping, and it's dead.
Fantastic work. An immobile boss who's just going to sit there and take your extra damage orbs. What a deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Pyramid Keys are in the castle. This is going to be Crimdahl's game. But not quite as much of a lead as Planeswater getting the Pyramid Keys, because the Maw Loop does take you back to an area that is kind of close to the castle. So there's been that debate of, do you go into the castle and clear it out if you have Water Mask and can clear out Maw Cave? And we're seeing a lot of divergence here, so...
Yeah. Two differing opinions on what is going to be a very important matter for this run, because Twin Pyramid Keys has to be somewhere.
I'm switching over to Crimdahl's because this is one of my favorite songs. Because I can.
Crimdahl really showing off the utility of the double jump, especially in combination with the Teleria attachment, the dash that we start with.
Yes, that jump from the little bit of stairs heading into this area is technically possible, but it's a little hard to do. Oh, beautiful, beautiful little mini struggle juggle there.
Amazing work. Super smooth, my god. These runners putting on a clinic how to get around this castle.
Making it look easy, man, Crimdahl. The only downside, though, to banking on the castle is it is a bit of a walk back if you don't get those Pyramid Keys.
Absolutely.
Almost ran out of sand. Boy, it would have been nice if they had, like, the glass pumpkin.
Planeswater looks like they've picked up the Pyro Ring, so a source for fire, which means that they are not locked out of the Vine checks in the present, should they eventually need to get them. Mm-hmm. But also, getting that just a little bit after it would be convenient, so there's going to be a little bit of backtracking if they decide to go back and burn the vines.
Trying to do tower skip. Managed to do it despite falling down. Got a little sand vial. Climbing up the rest of the tower to see who is in Elana's spot. Unfortunately, there is one spot that Crimdahl is going to have to abandon. Ooh! Blood Orb Plus. Abandon up here, Elana's Attic. You cannot get up there without some sort of infinite vertical. And so if we're Crimdahl, we're hoping that does not have anything. We got Blood Plus, which is another source of dark or chaos type, and it homes in a little bit, so it's really good for those flying enemies or enemies that move around quite a bit.
So far, nothing particularly exciting for either of our runners.
Nothing in weird spots yet, because we haven't had much of a going crazy places yet that the other hasn't gone.
Yeah, there's still a whole lot of progression to find, too. So stuff could be anywhere.
Bleak Ring might make a bit of a difference. That is a ring that the more frequently that you hit, the higher your damage multiplier gets, but the enemies also get the same damage multiplier.
Definitely one way to level up your damage against bosses, but one of the more dangerous ways for sure.
Mm-hmm. It is a favorite of speedrunners because they're just good at the game.
What must that be like?
Oh, gonna get our next struggle juggle. The key to this is that the little... Oh, whoa, okay. Got a key card at top of big struggle juggle. There's Pyramid Keys in Maw Caves. Okay.
Ooh, that's gonna be a big advantage for Planeswater.
Whew, okay. The trick to struggle juggle, in theory, I say, because I'm terrible at this, is that the Royal Guard will not fire his orb attack if he is facing away from you. So you're always going to want to jump behind his head. But I say that like it's easy.
So Crimdahl, unfortunately, faced with the long walk over to the left side of the map now.
Mm-hmm.
Whereas once Planeswater is done with the Maw Caves, Planeswater will have a quick warp through the ether, as it were, in order to get back to Ilana's towers.
It'll be interesting to see how much of a difference that decision makes.
Especially because it looks like there's going to be a lot of routing decisions left for our runners, even once they get through this. Twin Pyramid Keys coming a little late here in the past, but none of the other pieces of the Timespinner have shown up. So this is looking like there's going to be 4 pieces of the Timespinner somewhere in the present, and those could be anywhere. The present at this point is wide open for our runners.
They've pretty thoroughly cleared out the past, except for Ilana's tower attic, I believe.
And Planeswater, as it stands, also doesn't have access to that check right now. Planeswater's still just on double jump. But Planeswater may opt to go to the present first in order to try and find some more vertical before heading over to the towers.
So that Planeswater does not have to abandon the attic, or even attempt Struggle Juggle. Like making quick work of Volturilis in the Moss Spot. And checking the elevator chest, and then probably warp sharding back and going to the present, probably.
We know where the present warp is yet?
Nope, not yet.
Okay.
Unless they did it really fast while I was switching stuff.
Yeah, I didn't see it either, so it's possible that warp shards won't work for Planeswater because they haven't warped yet.
Well, they are clearly hoofing it back to this warp, so where are we going? Okay. Doesn't really get them anything. Sometimes that warp is a interesting routing spot because it gets you over this double jump gate, but they already have double jump.
So this is otherwise just a very early spot in the present. So most of the present then is going to be on the way towards their eventual progression in the hangar.
That D key card that Crimdahl got is required to get out of the library.
That's true. We still don't know if Planeswater is going to think to check the Bombardiers on their way back.
They are going to go through the castle, but they have the warp, so they may skip it. That's interesting.
Nice Empire Crown.
Crimdahl going back to Cantor and Spot. And getting cheesed by Nuvius. There's a gear in the present fire checks.
And Crim did not find a fire source in the towers. So for Crim to get those fire checks, they're also going to need to do the same kind of somewhat out of the way, grab the pyro ring, and then come back.
Are you going to the Bombardier's planes? No. Interesting.
So Planeswater either making the deliberate choice or perhaps forgetting and leaving the Bombardier's chest behind. It's very easy to forget, very easy to miss.
This might bring Crimdahl back closer to Planeswater and close the gap a little bit.
We'll see what Planeswater decides to do once they're finished going through their towers. Since they now have the same things that we've seen Crimdahl go through ahead of them.
Yes, one of the hidden features of Eternal Crown is that it does regen your sand faster.
Oh, does it? I didn't know that.
Yeah, so if you read the description of it, it says enhances one's dominion over time. And so that's how you would know. It's just sort of a flavor hint.
Planeswater making great use of that Shadow Seal, jumping into the boss in order to take some extra damage, and the closer they are to 0, the more damage their melee orbs will do.
It either makes it so that you require half as much sand or something like that. It's similar to the Glass Pumpkin, but less obvious. And the Veletian Crown improves aura regen as well. It's one of those hidden features. I'm going to switch over to Crimdahl because I know Planeswater's heading up to my favorite area, but I know a lot of people really love Lake Serene's music. So I am a benevolent host.
Always giving the people what they want, Llama.
After I get what I want.
Well, that's only fair. It's good to be the king.
Yes, Crimdahl almost did not pick up Shadow Seal, but doubled back and went to get it, because that is another one of those damage enhancers that is better than Bleak Ring. You don't have to keep hitting to keep it up, because it reflects the amount of hit points you have taken away. And I believe its multiplier is larger than Bleak Ring's in the end. It's just you have to be pretty low in your hit points to get it.
Planeswater onto the first mini struggle.
Gonna do it. Alright, let's see. Planeswater do this. Oh!
Planeswater struggling a bit more with this. And this is one of the areas where I think Crimdahl's longer experience with the game pays off. Planeswater, a relative
Doing
newcomer to
pretty
the
good,
scene, but yeah,
Got it second
fantastic
try.
execution in what they've seen done so far.
Second try.
One interesting thing note for Planeswater is Planeswater made a comment after one of their earlier races that they're not as experienced with the type of seed that we're doing, the inverted seed, where you start in the past instead of the present. But over the course of the tournament, they've obviously been playing quite a few inverted seeds. So even though they lost to Crimdahl when they met up very early on in the tournament, they're now coming back to it with a lot more practice on the kind of game that we're playing. So this should be a very, very interesting run once we finally play it out to the end.
Ah, yes, thank you, Lily. So, Shadow Seal gets you up to just about 300%, with 200% is the maximum for Bleak. So it is better, it's just you gotta be pretty low and not get hit afterwards. Alright, Planeswater, do the next struggle juggle. You need that keycard A. Nope, he's casting his spell. We don't want to see that. Yes, you can deliberately poison yourself by eating a rotten tail, or just smashing your face into the mushroom towers here, and do something that's called toe tapping on the saves, where normally the saves will heal you mostly to full, but it's actually a duration of contact, and so if you barely tap the save and then leave, you'll stay low hit points.
Planeswater now making their way up to the Ilana fight. Who's their Genza?
Their Forbidden Tome Plus is going to be good for Genza. Also Pyro Ring if Planeswater has it equipped. Genza is one of those bosses that becomes invulnerable for a bit, but Pyro Ring will do damage over time, and is weak to fire. Yep, Ilana's attic will remain covered in dust for now. We're just gonna hope that there's nothing up there.
One of those really out-of-the-way checks to come back to later on if they actually need it.
But here, Planeswater gets to warp straight out. Crimdahl being like, gosh darn it.
Planeswater going straight to the present. No Bombardiers yet.
Probably gonna go to the library, because there's quite a few easy checks along the way, especially with Double Jump, because you can get Spring Chicken Chest here.
So our runners do have the A key card at this point, which might make the Zarian Caves more tempting than the, few one-off checks in the past.
Yeah, Planeswater may go there.
We could see a lot of running around here.
Light Wall in the wheel spot.
Which means that Ilana's attic is now accessible also for Planeswater. Yet another place that they're probably not going to want to come back to in the near future.
Yeah, that's a bit far away from any near warp. Also got elevator key card, possibly necessary, possibly not. Crimdahl gonna make short work of whoever was here in Ma. It was a Emperor variant. Yep. Volturillus. And we have Nightmare.
Planeswater gonna bully the end boss of the game.
And dead.
So with the boss randomizer, we have all of the bosses showing up in different places, but scaled to the stats of the boss that would normally be there. This is where the feline sentry normally appears, and is, of course, the first boss of the game with a fairly small HP pool. So it's always fun to see end-game bosses just get absolutely demolished when they show up in the feline sentry's position.
Yep. Crimdahl's not that far behind here. Because we know where the B keycard is. And it just depends on whether Planeswater happens to check Bombardiers.
Yep, Crimdahl is going to be able to make it through that first keycard door, but neither of our runners have the B keycard, which is also necessary to go towards the remaining progression. Crimdahl doesn't have a gear. I thought there was a gear in the Maw Caves?
No, it was in the fire checks.
Oh, that was it. Okay.
The double jump spot, I think. In fire checks. Checking skeleton, because he's right there, and then heading off to the right.
Wouldn't want our Skelly friend to be lonely.
My very first seed, the skeleton had jerky, and I wanted to put it back. Just, no.
My first seed in this tournament, the skeleton had elevator key cards, which ended up being very, very relevant.
Yes. Spindle up in the backer area of the library, which is definitely something Crimdahl will find along the way. But looks like we got Planeswater looking for that D key card.
Yep. He knows it's important, but he doesn't know where it is. So there is still more progression to find. There's 2 more gears, there's a B key card, there's a sash if we're lucky, or if the runners are unlucky, or other way around. If we're never mind, there's potentially a sash. And so these digressions may in fact pay off for Planeswater. Planeswater may find something relevant once they go through these areas, but
Planeswater going into Zarian Caves.
As predicted, taking the dip into Zarian before heading back to the past for the out-of-the-way checks.
And there's that gear Crimdahl got in the fire checks. Make sure you take out Zarian if you go all the way down in Zarian Caves. Planeswater getting low on H. Oh, B key card required.
Yep, this is what I was afraid of. So, Planeswater definitely still hunting for things that we know now are going to take him a while to find, but also finding things that we know Crimdahl is going to need eventually.
Yep, B key card is absolutely necessary in order to get into the lab. Also gives you a shortcut along the bottom of the Varndegroth Tower. You can get over to the hangar without the key card by going up through Varndegroth Tower. It's just, you hope you don't have to.
I'm so excited to see where Planeswater goes after this.
Yeah. Bombardiers, come on! Nightmare is strong to dark, so you're not going to want to use Umber Orb against it, unless he's in boot spot where it doesn't matter.
You don't have to worry too much about typing when you only have 400 health to go through.
And it's an inverted seed, so you're guaranteed to have killed at least 3 bosses before getting there. Or no, not guaranteed, but you probably have killed at least a few.
Oh, beautiful movement from Crimdahl, just running through these moving platforms.
The stupid sewers. Ooh, no! Oh, Ravenlord and Zarian spot.
Oh, dear.
And they don't have Sash. They do have double jump, so it's not too bad, but...
Yeah, a big old Colossal Blade doing some work.
As
It's
long
going to
as
take a lot of work, though.
As long as Ravenlord stays in spots where you can get him.
Mm-hmm.
Get back here. Get back here. It'd be interesting to see if Crimdahl doubles back or just goes for lab, because you have to do lab anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And you do have Light Wall, so you can basically clear out most things.
Yeah, and
this.
with the D key card already in Crimdahl's possession.
Ooh.
Oh! Alright, that's an important check. With the D key card already in Crimdahl's possession, it makes a lot of sense, I think, for him to just head off to the right and towards, the places that he knows he needs to go.
Mm-hmm. Especially getting the B key card here shortly, right?
Well,
no, where is the B key card?
Once Crimdahl makes his way to the B key card door, where is he going to go from there? Because options are going to be even wider open for Crimdahl than they were for Planeswater. And we know Planeswater made the now that we know is important check to go to Zerion Caves.
But Planeswater got D key card.
Oh, I think that puts Planeswater significantly ahead of Crimdahl. Crimdahl has a lot of options available to them, and only one of them is going to be, well, we still don't know where that last gear is, but...
Remind me again where B key card was?
B key card was in Zerion Caves.
Right. No one likes doing Zerion Caves.
No, and Crimdahl knows that he needs something heading up the elevator towers.
Yeah, we might be getting a twofer here. Might have to get a new room set up, and
Planeswater looks like that they're just running through here. Oh, Celestial Sash. Nice. Planeswater looks like they're just running through here, so not checking all of these elevator checks because, well, the lab is right there.
Sash's B key card locked, so Crimdahl is not going to find it right away and might end up skipping it because you'll have a warp over by the hangar. That's going to be rough. That's going to be really rough to recover from.
A lot of this is going to depend on where that last gear is. If it's on the way, then Planeswater absolutely has this. If it's somewhere out of the way, if it's in Mom's attic or something, then this game could still be fairly wide open.
We got Alana up in Barn to Roth spot, so taken out pretty quickly. For nothing.
Radiant minus.
I'm going to switch over to Planeswater at this point, because I do believe that they are a bit ahead.
I think a lot is going to depend on where that gear is, but...
They have all of Lab to go through. They don't have the tablet, so less ideal going through the lab.
True. So far, the elevator is not really paying off for Crimdahl. There needs to be something important here that Crimdahl can get that Planeswater doesn't have in order for Crimdahl to get back into this race.
Nothing much. Excuse me.
Crimdahl heading into the elevator spider hell. So named for these hellish spizers.
Known as Hellgazers.
But the real problem here is they don't pay attention to time stop, and that red line is an actual wall. You can't pass it until you've killed the spider.
They really don't want you getting in there.
And Planeswater in the lab doing the same thing. Spider hell side by side. Crimdahl opting for blood for the homing features of it, and Planeswater using the plasma orb, also somewhat homing.
It is blood plus, so even though the spiders are strong to it, it's not the worst choice. If only Crimdahl knew how close he was to that sash.
Both of them bypassing the Temporal Gyre, in theory, in logic, since they have the Timespinner wheel.
Checking up the present bombardiers with nothing. I'm actually going to switch over to Crimdahl because this is a jam. It's really fun watching streams of people playing this game for the first time, and they've checked the laser gate room before, and it's been that silent. Planes forgot that they have the sash.
Yep, relying on time stop in order to make it up, getting hit, the chaos debuff knocking off all their sand, and just kind of struggling for a second.
Alright, let's go back to Planes. But it is fun to see people come to that room after they've killed all 3 bosses in the past, and the music kicks in, and they're like, oh, I guess time to go.
Crimdahl going to check Ifrit's spot. I think they found Kobo.
We got Pantaran here in Ravenlord's spot. He does hit pretty hard and is a little hard to dodge. Sellen's Bangle, kind of late game, but still good to equip. Good enough.
Umbra Orb plus making short work of Cantarin regardless of where they appear.
Okay, Planes remembered. Oh, we got
Ifrit in Genza's spot?
Ifrit in Genza, the very impressive looking boss that you can really cheese if you get there in time, but looks like Planeswater missed the timing, so we're just going to do this the official way.
Colossal Blade a big hit.
Crimdahl getting bullied by Varndegroth here, which is fair play because we've bullied him so many times before boss Randomizer.
Varndegroth, a somewhat annoying to deal with boss that usually shows up relatively early on, but when it comes in a high health, high damage location, definitely a hassle to deal with those patterns. Planeswater now moving into Dad's Towers, the Emperor's Towers.
Checking the really close areas near the bottom of the tower. Maybe clearing out tower because you got Sash.
Does he have Sash, though?
Does he, though? Nothing there. Nothing there for Crimdahl, either. Planeswater
continuing
showcasing.
the towers. Yep.
Yep.
Power to that Sash.
Yep.
Crimdahl into the Gyre. This is kind of where I'm expecting to find this gear. So we'll see if Crimdahl gets an advantage out of this, or if this is just another problem.
Once again, switching over to the jam. I think I've heard T-Base say that they added the Gyre stuff just because they want to hear this song in rando more.
The piercing on that Forbidden Tome, definitely helpful when clearing out groups of mobs.
We got Boots up in Dad's spot. Boots being the first boss of the vanilla game, so he does not have any weaknesses, only strengths. Yeah, Forbidden Tome in the Gyre is just a little overkill.
And nothing good. Planeswater on the hunt for that last gear.
Way up there? There it is! There it is!
So that puts Planeswater in go mode.
Yep. I am going to still just... Okay. I had to hear as much of the Gyre music as possible. So we're going to have a second match after this. Planeswater is definitely in the go mode here. Crimdahl heading into the Zarian Caves, where is the B card that he needs, but Planeswater is heading to the final boss.
Yeah, Crimdahl at this point very solidly behind. Planeswater on that final run.
It was that B key card.
Heading into Zarian early, by necessity at the time, but a great choice for Planeswater, definitely paid off.
Getting that D key card early for Crimdahl actually pointed him away from Zarian Cave. And he's going to clear out the cave.
Looks like it. Yes,
I mean,
he's also missing that last gear.
He doesn't know where that last gear is. But Planeswater has broken time, is now going to punch God in the face. Let's see who our God is this time. I wonder if Planeswater is going to do the swag light wall skip or just not.
I never think about it when I'm in this situation. Like, I should do it just to practice, but I never think about it.
They might be a little on edge, because if they win, they get to go again. Oh, rare spawn. Yep, not even showing off.
Yeah. At this point, Planeswater has been in quite a few locations, so I can't imagine that they feel like they're firmly ahead.
Yeah. They might be hoping, okay, I went to Zarian Caves early, so maybe the other guy didn't do that. First off, we have Emperor Nuvius as Sandman. It's really funny to me that T-Base programmed it so that they say so-and-so as the boss they're replacing. Like it's a performance play.
Using that arm cannon to great effect against
the label. Vermilion mentions the labels are vanilla. It's just what goes in the label is modified for boss rando. Oh, Zarian! Oh, at least it's not Ravenlord.
Zarian is in fact a nightmare.
Ooh, oh, the damage, and causes poison, and just makes worms everywhere. Man. Hitting like a truck here. I'm gonna say though, we should not click done or forfeit on our controls because we want to keep control over the audio for the channel. Little known fact, the hand has its own hit points, so you don't actually need to kill it. Just taking out the main body is what you need to do. So let's get those exclamation points in chat for Planeswater. Official time of 46:36, and Crimdahl has forfeited because we have to move on to the next race. There's the race time room. Crimdahl says awful seed. Yes, yes indeed. I'll pop over to there. It looks like Bonsai is gatekeeping. We have a request for a 5-minute break. And we definitely have time for that, so we will fill the space for 5 more minutes. I'll tell them no problem.
So, I don't know that this was necessarily an expected outcome, although I think Crimdahl was expecting this outcome. I think Crimdahl's been watching Planeswater's progress through the tournament, and, seeing a good opponent coming up from the ranks.
I'm actually going to switch over to Crimdahl's audio because it's the gentle loading screen, title screen music. Yeah, Crimdahl was very close behind though. They were in the lab. He was probably going to go into. Well, no, maybe he wouldn't because he didn't have Sash yet.
Crimdahl warped straight to that final checkpoint, so didn't go through. Oh man, the routing, the minor decisions because of when they got the specific pieces of progression that they needed. It turns out that getting the D key card early for Crimdahl kind of led Crimdahl away from the rest of the progression that he needed when he needed it.
The tournament race command is not working. Bonsai is working on that. We'll get a seed to them somehow. But yes, get up, take a stretch, look at something further away than your computer screen. Get some water.
Water's such a good idea. Hydrate or dihydrate, those are your options.
This is exciting. I don't think I was actually expecting this. Crimdahl, very solidly a really great player.
Mm-hmm.
So part of me believed that it was just going to be a one and done. So this is really exciting that Planeswater has improved so much that this grudge match is worth the effort put in.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I always believed in Planeswater since Planeswater's the one who knocked me out of the tournament. But
I see how it is. Yeah, this is exciting.
But yeah, honestly going through the bracket and seeing everybody's performance, these two absolutely deserve to be where they are up here. They've both put in the work and they've both shown absolutely wonderful races, time in, time out, every time. So with things kind of as out of the way as they were, the next race could be even worse, could have things more spread out, or could really be a jet seed. We have no idea what we're up for. I'm really interested to see, I would actually be really interested to see what a jet seed looks like with these two racers. Both of them with such crisp execution, really just neck and neck, no like lucky routing decisions, just pure skill. Who's better?
Yes. Also makes it easier for us to commentate because we don't have to keep track of two streams at the same time.
But yeah, just fantastic to watch. I'm so glad I get to be here and commentate this.
Yes. Yes. There was quite a lot of people interested in commentating, but not many people could actually make this time. So I'm glad that you were able to join me.
Absolutely. Wouldn't miss this for the world.
Yes. Doing great.
Mm-hmm.
Planeswater managing not to have hit their head at all, despite having Sash.
Something that happens pretty much only when you get a late Sash.
Mm-hmm. There will be a new room by the bot. Okay. Because the tournament race exclamation point is just not working right now. Looks like we're gonna get another invite. Oh, with new commentator controls.
All right, so I think we're gonna need to. Are we gonna need to duck out of this channel, or?
I believe we are still on the same channel.
Okay.
I believe so. It's just we are not going to be using the old commentator controls. We're now using the new one from that SpeedGaming Live message. There's the Discord server. Do we need to move over to that one? I don't believe so. I mean, it's SpeedGaming main channel. I think we're okay.
Yeah, so we are setting up for another round. Crimdahl was the top of the winners bracket, and Planeswater fought his way up from the losers bracket. So now that Planeswater has a win over Crimdahl, we're resetting the bracket and we're going for another one. This is the final match of the grand finals.
Do or die. Yep, looks like they have the same hash seed items at the top. And so we will head in once both of them are ready. All right. Tell them I'm dropping the gate, and we will begin. And then it will be a little bit of a moment for the stream to catch up to us.
I'm so excited. So what do you think we're going to see?
Oh boy. Well, we had required waterfall this time, so and bombardiers as well. Maybe bat ledge. I would be happy to
Probably
see.
Bat Ledge.
I would be happy
It
to see
really
it.
would be the appropriate capstone for this tournament for Bat Ledge to be required.
Mm-hmm. I'd be very happy for bat ledge to have something. Everyone always picks like Zarian Spot or Spider Hell or something, but I want the weird spots.
Yeah, this actually this last seed had a lot of stuff kind of out of the way. I think Lily Spikes makes a good point. You had the B key card in Zarian Caves. You had something on Bombardiers. You had something on Waterfall.
And way up there, ooh, got Blorb and Bombardment Plus. So, both pluses.
What a start!
Nice.
So Blood Orb, not a very fast orb.
Planeswater, having a trouble with starting out with the Blood Orb defeating the dummy, because you have to stay kind of far away from them and just sort of sit there and do 1 damage each time you attack.
Taken 30 seconds to learn how Blood Orb works.
Yep. Well, Crimdahl needed an advantage because Planeswater won. Alright, we're probably going to see something similar where they head to the left to see what they get. They do have a fire source right off the bat. And the gas mask again, so we're not going to have that will they, won't they moment.
And then for the first couple of minutes, I'm expecting to see the same kind of routing. I'm expecting both of our runners to head over to the left to grab the warp point in the anticipation of an early pyramid key, and then see them going through the castle basement. And once we get to that point, we'll probably see some alternate decisions being made.
And thank you, Lily, for explaining it. Yes, it's a double elimination. Crimdahl had not lost up to this point, so Planeswater has to beat him twice. And we just decided to do it twice in a row, instead of having to try and find another time where everyone can sit together and watch the stream.
And honestly, this is way more hype. Crimdahl, taking a second here, not going as fast as he could because he wants to get a little bit more experience. So stopping and firing off those blood orbs at the birds and getting a few kills, even though that cost him, a couple of frames here, a couple of frames there.
There's D key card. Interesting. Just giving them stuff all over.
Yeah. Maybe required, maybe not. Again, we'll see based on where the Twin Pyramid keys ends up warping them to in the present. In the first seed, we had the Twin Pyramid keys all the way on the left side.
I'll be right back, sorry.
No worries. In the first seed, we had the Twin Pyramid keys all the way on the left side of the present. So they had a bunch of territory they needed to cover. But the warp could be anywhere. This is, in fact, a randomizer. So if the warp shows up, closer to the military hangar, on the other side of the library, then they might not need the D key card. There might be whole chunks of the present that they don't, in theory, need to visit. But
sorry about that. I'm back. My mother needed to know what temperature to set the oven for dinner tonight. Mom! I'm talking with my friends online.
But we have Crimdahl and Planeswater both going through the upper caves of banishment, just like last time. Nothing especially exciting found so far. Definitely nothing that will change the direction our runners are going yet.
Doing that save scum for the top of banishment, and doubling back up, and away they go.
So definitely still early, but no vertical yet, no Twin Pyramid keys yet, no water mask yet. So definitely nothing that'll move our runners from the expected path here. And Crimdahl's still keeping that 30-second lead from Planeswater trying to figure out how blood orbs work.
Yeah, Crimdahl keeping that lead, and with renewed strength of I gotta keep going. I gotta win this. Can't relax. Planeswater is coming after me.
And after that first race, he definitely knows what he's up against. Neither of these racers are any slouch.
Cat making fun. Me and my mother. Mom, I can't stop it because it's not actually me playing, but it's important that I stay there because I have to talk about it. Mom! No, she understands. It's... My parents are cool.
Every gamer's dream. Cool parents.
Well, my father got me into video games. And, yeah, they're just real supportive, real great people.
So Crimdahl doing something that I've seen, not him do, but other people do before. Firing off the blood orb and then allowing the trail of the blood orb to follow behind you.
I like calling those the blood bees that follow you.
Blood bees. Beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
Because they, like, follow along behind you in a little squiggly path.
Mm-hmm. And yet another example of a minor trade-off. Crimdahl taking that, half second, 3/4 of a second to fire off the orbs, and getting extra experience for his troubles. Mm-hmm. So when he eventually gets to the bosses, we're going to see, hopefully, quicker boss fights as a result. Because he's going to have more levels under his belt, more damage.
Mm-hmm. Kobo, possibly required.
Possibly required.
Kobo and the Merchant Crow familiars are used as gating items for the Gyre bosses. Kobo gates the Ifrit spot.
Now we're heading into the basement loop, and once again, nothing really to draw our runners one way or the other. I believe they have access to one check on the left side that they haven't gotten, explicitly Cantorin, nothing else. Mm-hmm. And once they're through this basement loop, they'll have access to one check left on the right side underneath the golden idol. So there has to be something in one of these three places. But nothing so far in the basement.
If it's wheel, man.
3 more checks? 2 more checks?
There's water mask.
Okay.
So they're probably going back left.
So we're probably going to see a repeat of the routing decisions in the first game. Crimdahl went right for that one extra check underneath the golden idol.
And save scummed out when it was nothing.
Right. And I think Planeswater... Did Planeswater do the same thing also, or Planeswater just immediately started going left?
Planeswater did the same thing too.
Okay.
And we'll probably see it again. Yep. Because you don't have Twin Pyramid keys, and if something important is over here, that's a lot of backtracking.
Yeah, it seems like, wow. Keycard B and... Nothing. Alright, so they're going to need to come back for that keycard.
But Crimdahl still saves coming out, but needs to remember that's where B keycard was. I hope they don't get second seed problems.
Mm-hmm.
I did not see what was up on the ledge.
File.
Okay. Planeswater not save scumming, because knowing that they will need to get that eventually.
Mm-hmm. Planeswater opting not to need to remember that the keycard is there. Mm-hmm. So, definitely something that Crimdahl can handle. But it's also something that has punished people in the past, where either an unfortunate death leading to a loss of progress, or just saving and quitting and needing to remember that you need to come back to get something, and we'll see.
Sorry, I really love the blood bees. Diligently following you in a nice little sine wave.
So, with both of our racers...
Waterfall! Come on!
Both of our racers now heading to the left with the ability to get the water checks. What is your prediction for our first vertical? Where do you think they're going to find it?
They can go all the way down to the Maw caves, so maybe down there. That would be kind of annoying.
It sure would. I'm gonna say this is gonna be an awful seed for our poor racers. I'm gonna predict the crystal underneath Maw for our first vertical.
Aww. That would be real mean.
It would be real mean, wouldn't it?
Waterfall did have Shattered Plus, which is a great orb. It hits multiple times. So, and enemies in Timespinner will freeze for a fraction of a second when you hit them. And with Shattered Orb hitting so many times, you can actually stall out bosses and have less cycles of their attacks. And it being plus is great.
So both of our racers making the fairly easy decision to head down into the Caves of Banishment. They're going to get the underwater checks that they couldn't get earlier on, and then probably going to take the free warp back to the starting location.
Yep. Shiny Rock. And Potion.
Mark May just telling our racers that the vertical is going to be in the present.
That technically could be true. We could get Twin Pyramid keys and then... Oh no. Elevator key card. If we want a truly cursed seed.
Could actually be that bad. Crimdahl now making his way into new territory over to the left side. We'll probably see him stop for the Cantaran fight.
Mm-hmm. So far, though, we're getting what you requested, where they basically take the same route, and it's all down to this execution. And
yeah, there's really not been a lot of options for our racers so far.
Yeah, and there was a bit of failed execution on Planeswater's side with how Blood Orb works with the dummy.
Yeah, what a... that must be so unsettling for Planeswater coming into, you know, the biggest race of his life and the Blood Orb at the very beginning. I hope that doesn't throw him off his game for later stuff, and it looks like it hasn't so far.
No.
Looks like he's, you know, still executing up to par.
Mm-hmm. Alright, let's see what Cantaran is. Ow! Cheater. The Shattered Orb is pretty good with this guy. It does slow him down so he teleports less, but Crimdahl's like, nah. Not doing that.
Crimdahl, as I've noticed, has made really, really good use of the various spells that they've been playing with, especially in the past seed, and not a lot of what they have is going to be particularly effective against
Planeswater
this
did
fight.
not safety save, so they are stuck killing Cantaran's bot.
Yep. This is definitely a slow fight to be stuck on.
Uh-huh. But if there's something here...
Really good positioning with that bombardment, though. The shotgun, the bombardment spell, is a spell that is very close range and hits a large number of times if you can position it correctly. So it's great against bosses with bigger hitboxes. In this fight, you have to be very careful about your positioning, where you're standing, if you want to get the most damage out of it.
You got him!
I mean, it was always a foregone conclusion. It was just a matter of how much time it was going to take.
Didn't pay off. Plasma crystal. Yeah, the Bombardment Plus is really doing a lot of heavy lifting for them.
And I'm actually expecting Crimdahl not to come back for Cantaran. I think he's taking this as a gamble and hoping to save a little bit of time by skipping what appears to be a somewhat long check.
Mm-hmm. For one item.
Right, exactly.
We go over to the left, check the Azure Queen spot. Probably
Burning the
also
vines.
burning the vines, yep. There's Cantaran! Who is weak to Blood Orb.
Not weak to Shotgun, but Shotgun's still quite the spell.
I mean, isn't everything kinda weak to Shotgun? I can't take a shotgun shot to my face, so...
I would be hard-pressed to take a shotgun and laugh it off.
Yeah.
Well, there's our vertical.
Okay. Interesting. Sometimes people skip the Azure Queen spot. I don't think Planeswater will because of the fire source, so I think Planeswater's going to find that. Yep. Up they go.
Nope. Crimdahl notably, this is a very small divergence, but Crimdahl notably going to the warp point down there rather than going straight up to the Azure Queen spot. So Crimdahl's taking maybe like a couple of seconds out of the way in order to take advantage of a TPK if they find one. Crimdahl now finishing off these fire checks. going back to burn the vines on the other side, and get
nice.
3 checks over there, 4 checks over there.
Nice light wall use to avoid that giant bird. Okay. Naeus, open the chest! Okay. Beautiful music in this game. Jeff Ball is the composer, and he just really hit it out of the park with his soundtrack.
Crimdahl now actually going back to the Cantorin fight. I didn't expect this.
Light wall, huh? Interesting. Not sure I would agree, but, you know, Crimdahl's good at the game, so...
Definitely getting some bigger hits with that bombardment. I think they found, maybe Empress Robe? Or...
Yes, I think it was the Eternal Coat? One of the good coats. Crimdahl's not even picking it up.
Not even picking it up. Disdain.
Well, it is a little bit of a time save, because the screen does freeze when you pick up orb things.
So Crimdahl, now having exhausted the checks available, heading into the Maw Cave. And fortunate with vertical, so we're not going to have to skip any of the checks that are in there.
But single jump light wall is just...
the most awkward of the verticals. Absolutely. But in theory, as long as your mana holds out, you can go anywhere.
They will be on the lookout for the Economizer ring, or in a pinch, the Royal ring, to help with that aura management.
And of course, better vertical would also be a favorite if they find the second Terrapin, or if they find Celestial Sash. That will improve their quality of life dramatically. And still no pieces of the Timespinner, so there's the present has a lot to answer for. There's a lot of work left to be done here.
Crimdahl going through, Planeswater right after him, just about 30 seconds behind. I think Planeswater has reduced the difference a little bit.
Yeah.
Ooh! Nope, don't save and quit! Don't save scum!
Going to need that gear.
Planeswater, I think, making up some of the time because of taking on Cantorin the first time and not having to save and quit and double back. But still, I think it's anyone's game depending on their decisions later.
Absolutely, they're still very close, and there's a lot more decision making to be made. Tiny little edges, Planeswater, putting themselves in a situation where, as long as nothing, like, depending on the outcome of a decision, Planeswater might gain a little edge, but Crimdahl might gain a big edge. And I think Crimdahl is kind of playing these low odds for slight gain decisions a little bit.
Empire is minus this time. And we got the A key card.
Everybody's favorite.
Ooh boy.
With the A key card, Zarian's Cave's also going to immediately be in Logic.
Once they get a teleport, because they have Light Wall. So, yeah, basically.
I love that little hop to get the Light Wall into the appropriate position there. Crimdahl's movement is so good.
Planeswater too, doing good movement. Staying right behind Crimdahl.
So still no pyramid keys, which means probably in the towers at this point?
Yeah!
So we're looking at single jump light wall towers? That's, unfortunate.
Starlock him in the crystal spot. Crimdahl not even bothering to save.
Crimdahl is a man on a mission.
Yep.
Starlock and one of the, Go for it.
No, I was just gonna say, ugh, Ravenlord.
Bombardment doing some decent work here. Of course, Bombardment just a fantastic spell regardless.
Single jump, light wall, Raven Lord.
This is a struggle.
Ooh! Gonna have to do it eventually. Planeswater checking the elevator first, in the hopes that there's something good in here.
Nice fight for Crimdahl. Crimdahl actually using the birds, taking a hit deliberately so that with the iframes they'll be able to jump through the rest of the oncoming projectiles, not have to do too much dodging. Very smart damage boost.
And just a captain's coat in the elevator.
Nothing particularly impressive there.
No. Looks like Planeswater is not going to take on the Maw yet, and just going to go back to the castle. Because at this point, they know the Twin Pyramid Keys has to be over there.
Absolutely.
Because I'm pretty sure they got everywhere else.
So Planeswater still has a Maw fight ahead of them, whereas Crimdahl has already beaten the Maw. But
come on, Bat Ledge.
Otherwise they're neck and neck here.
Ah, I'm sad. Bat Ledge had nothing.
Too bad.
Next time. Yep, it does make sense to leave the Maw for later. For when you have more levels and you've defeated the other bosses. Also,
and there's no check behind Maw, so you're not missing out on anything by not getting it until it's easier to do.
And we, with all of our knowledge, know that it is Ravenlord, so it is a super good choice not to do that fight.
Mm-hmm.
The hope with just Lightwall and the Bombardiers is to get close enough for them to get scared, either by Mayef or hitting them once with Blood Orb. Yep, get them scared, and you're good.
Definitely a struggle to get, though.
Mm-hmm. So this seed required them to go into the castle and get the water mask. And then go left and defeat Azure Queen. And then go right to get the Pyramid Keys again.
Mm-hmm.
Because Lightwall was behind Azure Queen, so they couldn't have gone upper Lake Serene, even if they wanted to.
Crimdahl notably does need to take a little bit of a detour here to pick up that B key card again.
Yes.
Since they save quit out last time.
Do not forget, Crim. Please remember, please remember.
Planeswater heading into their Golden Idol fight.
Okay, he remembered.
Okay. We still got a race.
We got Volpyrilus in the Golden Idol spot.
We're just fighting all the dad variants this time.
Kind of nice to get them out of the way in the earlier spots.
Mm-hmm. Definitely a more annoying fight, so nice to see it in a lower HP spot with Golden Idol instead of the top of the towers.
Mm-hmm. I want to switch over to Planeswater because they are going into my favorite music area.
Oh, Planeswater put visibly ahead? Call that?
Yeah. Visibly, technically ahead, but it's hard to know.
True.
Because they still have to do the Maw.
Yes, they are going to have to go back and do the Maw, so... It's also the kind of thing that has tripped up racers in the past, getting through all of the right side and being like, alright, well, I've been everywhere, time to go to the hangar, and finding yourself still gated. Like, what did I miss?
Oh, there's that spindle.
Mm-hmm. In a obvious place, definitely not a position that's going to trip up either of our runners.
There's Twin Pyramid Keys.
Uh-huh. There's those right side pyramid keys. And I would actually think it'd be a good idea here to go back and check the warp.
Take the warp so you can warp shard out of the castle, because it's a long walk back.
And we'll see if Planeswater agrees. Wow.
Crimdahl using that first light wall to break the floor.
Yeah, these towers, just all kinds of value. And Crimdahl immediately going back to the warp. Wow!
Good. Okay. Are we going to be in go mode?
What is this start?
Yep, Crimdahl went back and used the warp. The warp is the very first warp. And checking the present a little.
Not a bad idea. Again, this is these are checks that both of them are going to have to make anyway. They're going to have to go through this territory regardless of whether they do it now or later.
Crimdahl probably hoping for that vertical.
A double jump or a sash, then the trip through the towers is going to be much easier.
And if you're doubling back to get the warp anyway, you might as well head to the library and get some fire checks.
And the only way this doesn't pay off that I can see is if the third gear is also in Alana's towers.
Yes.
And then Planeswater knows that it's just a run to the hangar, to the security, to the lab, and nothing more to do. They don't need to go out of their way to get any more checks. Oh, that's right, and Crim does get to check the two chests in the crash site because Crim's beat them all and Plains hasn't.
We got Sandman up here in Alana's spot, also weak to Dark, so those Dark plus orbs are doing great.
And of course, Shotgun. Sandman, a big, slow-moving hitbox.
C key card,
all
possibly.
The key cards.
Possibly required. Economizer ring too. I mentioned that earlier. It's going to be good for their light wall economy. If they don't get double jump, it's going to really help for that long climb.
So Plains did Plains still hasn't checked the warp? So Plains is
they
needs to walk out to the warps. Okay.
Yep. Also
Crim taking the sewers pretty slow with only the one vertical.
I think they have to check upper struggle juggle too. I don't need you, Royal Guard. I got light wall and got a lab coat for my class.
Not better than the Eternal Coat, turns out.
No.
Crim now checking the library. An excellent check dense location.
Buying warp shards, of course. We're just looking for one more gear for technically go mode.
See if the library delivers.
Ooh,
Library's got tablet. So all of the library and all of the lab is open.
Nice to find it in the library while you're there. Empire Crown, very nice.
But no extra vertical, I think, is what Crim was hoping for and still hasn't found.
All right, check an Ifrit spot. Ugh.
There it is. Dad number 3.
All the dad
Great
variants.
positioning with bombardment, though. Getting full value out of that shotgun.
Yes. It's always very satisfying to see all those numbers. We killed them in the past, but now we have to kill them in the present. Don't question it. Nice, very nice.
Very smooth kill.
Planeswater.
Not a lot of mobility options. Double jump. Oh, that paid off.
Ooh, yeah.
And immediately warp sharding out.
Gonna check the rest of the downloads, I bet, along with the V
yes.
downloads.
So still in the library. A little bit more to check before moving on.
Oh!
Wow!
Ah!
Library is money!
Ooh! Okay. I don't have much to say about that. I guess maybe Crim's gonna go get that right warp.
That seems reasonable here. You can just definitely run straight for it. No elevator keycards, so not a whole lot more checks they can make here.
Yeah, the hairpin is less exciting, but still very useful for boss dodging and maintaining your horizontal momentum when dashing. Like we just saw right there with Crimdahl double jumping up to get to these chests.
So Crimdahl will make much quicker work of Ilana's towers. This is going to be a far quicker run than we saw through Plains. So, and this is all territory that Crimdahl basically had to go through anyway. So none of this is going particularly out of his way in order to find the things that he found.
Planeswater checked Skellington, but then decided not to do Zarian, so they are going through the Desolation. I think that's a good enough call. Skeleton is very easy to check and then double back, and you still have a lot to check here.
Crimdahl now finding his wheel and that second gear.
Being like, really?
It was all right here. So both of our racers now just on third gear for go mode. Planeswater, if they manage to find that gear before they enter the library, could easily be baited into not going to get that extra vertical, making the slow Lightwater climb in the pyramid, whereas Crim's going to be moving a bit faster here.
Yeah, if Planeswater gets go mode before finding Sash, that would be a bit sad. But I don't think that's going to happen. Those checks that had the Sash is pretty easy to get. You got the tablet in the Merchant Crow stash, and then it was in a download.
Yeah, it's all right there. It's definitely not out of the way.
Might not get double jump, because it's in Ifrit spot, but might do.
Crimdahl also making short work of Sandman. Bombardment, an incredible spell. Especially with all the levels that Crimdahl's been getting.
But making real fast work of Ilana's tower. I see some very beautiful movement on the right side of Ilana's tower.
Yeah, that Sash absolutely paying off. What a deal.
Sometimes looking for verticality just puts you behind. Sometimes it gets you Sash. Ooh, that was beautiful.
Oh, smooth. It's a work of art, really.
Also a nice downward movement, too.
Planeswater blowing through Ilana in the feline sentry position.
We are going to check pink. Wherever the royal ring is. There it is.
Did Planeswater come into the pink room?
I don't believe so. It's nothing.
Yeah, not much.
It was one of those hopes, I think, of, okay, people usually don't check this, so maybe it has something.
Crimdahl now moving in through the military hangar, and if we compare the positions, Planeswater and Crimdahl have killed the same bosses and gotten the same progression items. Planeswater now heading into the library, and Crimdahl very far ahead as a result of the added speed, both from the experience he's been getting and working on the boss fights, but the sash just making a huge difference in his transition through Ilana's towers.
Single jump light wall Ilana tower is just the worst.
So Crimdahl's going to be probably a bit more exhaustive in his searches now, because it really is just that gear. If he finds the gear, it's over.
Where is it? Where is it?
But also, like, things are pretty wide open right now. We don't have the elevator key card yet, but we have all of the other key cards. So it could be in the lab, it could be in the towers, it could be in Zarian's cave, it could be in the
anywhere.
Gyre. Yeah, it could be anywhere. So if the gear is on the way, Crimdahl has a huge advantage. If the gear is somewhere out of the way, then it's going to come down to where they decide to check. If Crimdahl checks the right place before Planeswater does. Or if Planeswater has the time to catch up.
Ooh, that time stop mid-air, that was beautiful.
This is the kind of thing that you only see after hours and hours and hours of practice. Like, so used to just figuring out how the tools you have will work to get you through the places you need to get to.
That was beautiful. There's just beautiful movement between these two. No, Crimdahl, you can't go through damage boost through those walls, though.
I think he was actually boosting his Shadow Seal.
Oh, that makes sense.
Since using the Blood Orb to take out the spiders.
Makes
The spiders
sense.
still have a decent chunk of health. You have to do enough damage.
That health up, ruining all his strats.
Uh-huh. Health up is slow. Alright, Planeswater's now found the Celestial Sash.
And double jump.
And is probably kicking himself.
Because this was open to them once they got to the pyramid keys. And D key card, because it was in Merchant Co's stash. But I think they got D key card pretty early.
Yep, all of the keycards showed up relatively early. There was never a moment of like, am I routing around this particular keycard? Am I waiting to get a keycard before I can do some things? It was all kind of just there. And there's elevator key cards, so the
Could be.
entire game just wide open. The only thing they're missing at this point is Griffin Familiar, I think.
Yeah. And, I mean, the ring technically on the tracker, but we're not playing Facebook mode or hide and seek.
Right, not Griffin. Sorry, Crow. I keep doing that. The Crow will open up the Ravenlord spot if that ends up being a thing our runners want to do.
Jin Inferno.
This is the
Now where?
Now where indeed.
I'm gonna do something kind of risky. I'm gonna be right back. I know we're only one thing away, but I gotta be right back.
So this is where it kind of opens up. This is what Crimdahl didn't want to see. Some decisions now to be made in figuring out where to go. Crimdahl's gonna have to decide, of the many places that are available, which of them are more likely to have his gear. And opting to go into Emperor's Towers. He still has a lot of lead to give away if he needs to. So he's got time to make some of these decisions. He's got lots of places to go, but a decent chunk of time available to him to go to those places before Planeswater is really caught up and starting to make the same decisions that Crimdahl is. Do all birds look alike? Listen, buddy. Birds are jerks. Fighting Genza up at the top of the Emperor's Towers. This is a fairly high HP location.
Didn't miss anything.
Bit of a struggle? No, you really didn't.
I was just a little too hydrated in the earlier match.
It's just Crimdahl flailing slightly and going to places that hopefully have gear, but
Still nothing.
we will see. Checking way up there. So this is also a place that has been pretty relevant this tournament. But not today.
Oh, there's that Merchant Crow.
And Crimdahl getting the Crow and going immediately to the Ravenlord fight.
Without saving. At this point, I think both of them are high enough level that they're not going to be worried about any bosses.
Yeah,
They've also
I can't imagine any boss in
Ravenlord.
trouble. Yeah, exactly. With Ravenlord out of the way already, there's very little chance that this is going to stress Crimdahl.
Aw, this is gonna be fun. Get in the cheese spot and just shotgun it in the face.
Planeswater making their way to the vanilla Genza location to fight. I don't even remember who was in that location.
Someone.
It wasn't one of the emperors, was it? Killed all of them already.
No, we got through that. So we're going through the other tower.
Someone forgettable. Oh, Azure Queen. Yeah, that checks out. So now Planeswater is in the same position as Crimdahl. They're effectively even. Crimdahl has checked more locations, but none of the locations that Crimdahl has checked has been relevant. So Planeswater might be following in Crimdahl's footsteps, making the same decisions. And it looks like so far they're checking the bottom of Emperor Towers because these checks are quick.
Mm-hmm. Probably gonna do Emperor's Tower with Sash, because you're right there. Might as well.
Yep. Which is the same decision that Crimdahl made. I have the Sash, it'll be quick, presumably. Crimdahl now going into the elevators, into the Varn de Grey Towers, which also a fairly check-dense location. Planeswater going for, yep, the towers. And we already know that Planeswater's not going to find anything good here, but it's a completely reasonable decision for Planeswater to make.
We didn't call Crimdahl out on it when he made that decision.
Absolutely. I think a lot of this is going to come down to if one or the other feels like they're behind, they might make a more risky play. But otherwise, there's kind of a hierarchy, an order in which we can expect these checks to be made.
Have we done Zarian Caves this season?
Nobody's looked in the Zarian Caves yet. I'm expecting Crimdahl to finish up the elevator loop after killing Nightmare here in Varn de Groth's position, going down to the Siren Caves, the upper sealed caves, and after that, maybe to Zarian Caves from there. I'm not sure if Crimdahl missed any of the checks in Upper Lake Desolation, but it's just a matter of finding the check-dense locations that are available. And then if Planeswater feels like they're behind, Planeswater might go out of the way instead. They might start checking those one-offs instead.
Nothing up there. Still checking. A few more spots.
More familiars, but no
Tower's
progression.
looking pretty... Oh, there it is!
There it is! And that is go mode for Crimdahl and probably the game. It'll take a lot to knock Crimdahl out of the lead at this point.
Planeswater heading to Varn de Groth Tower, making the right choice, but just a little behind. We got Varn de Groth here, big ol' fleshy target for your shotgun, and it's dead.
Good shotgun, good shotgun.
We have broken time. Let's go punch God in the face again.
And the really big difference here was Crimdahl taking the detour to the present first instead of going to Alana's Towers, getting that extra vertical. Made such a big difference.
There was the start of the seed panic that Planeswater also had.
That's true, that's true. Planeswater did just donate 30 seconds to the cause.
If the difference is less than 30 seconds, Planeswater's going to be mad about that. But this just goes to show these two runners are pretty evenly matched. They are both really good execution. It's just been a treat watching them.
Absolutely. And it also kind of showcases the routing that's available in this game, the places that you can go, and the kind of risks that you can take to make your life easier and or harder.
No rare spawn this time. Sad.
So, Crimdahl, who is our Sandman?
crit. Not even gonna try and get in the
Nope.
G spot. Oh, gonna get bodied.
Now you want to get the bombardment position, I guess. And a little harder to get good shots off when you're standing underneath them.
And boots! Ah! Final boots! I'm so happy. It's the dream. This is a true fitting finale to our tournament, having boots as the final boss. Exclamation
And
points
that is
in
it.
chat for Crimdahl. Click that.
With a final race time of 44:44.
Crimdahl says that his heart rate was at 150. That
And
was
Planeswater finding that gear.
being like, gosh darn it. Let's see if it's a difference of 30 seconds. We'll see what goes on with there.
It's gonna be more than 30 seconds. Planeswater's good. Planeswater's not that good.
I will see. I hope it's more than 30 seconds, so it's not just the panic at the start that did that. I've clicked the done button on Crimdahl, and hopefully he got the invite to come talk to us. I'm not sure. Oh, there he is. Planeswater hidden into the final area, just behind. Just barely behind.
Planeswater also making quick work of this pyramid. Very smooth movement from both of our runners.
Listen, I'm bad at math, Mark. It's okay. What even is 30 seconds? That's like an hour, right?
And time isn't real.
Time has no meaning.
Especially when both of our runners have already broken time.
Welcome!
Hi,
Take a deep
Llama.
breath. Take a deep breath.
Did you see what I posted in the race time?
Yes, take a deep breath. Let that heart rate come down. Man, that was exciting. That was some really excellent movement tech on both of your sides. It kind of came down to that dip into the present you did, where you found the sash and double jump.
Oh, I'm surprised. I mean, nobody likes the light wall climb the tower, so I expected that Planeswater would have dipped into the present.
Yeah. No, Planeswater did climb Alana's tower with single jump light wall. And then that was really a big factor. But I am very glad we got Boots as the final boss.
That is a fitting finals match, boss.
Alright, let's get those exclamation points in chat for Planeswater. Official time of 47:27. Double exclamation points in chat. GG's,
2 minutes and
everyone.
some change.
That was a great
Two
match.
concussions for both of you.
That was a great match. Both of you were right behind each other all the way. It was exciting. Planeswater,
Hey.
welcome. That was really close.
Yeah, GG Planeswater.
GG. I'm just glad I managed to make it 2 games and pretty
Yes.
exciting. Those were some bad seeds though.
Yes, those were interesting. This one had you going back and forth in the past. You had to go get the water mask in the early castle, then you had to go get Lightwall behind the Azure Queen, and then you had to go get TPK over in the castle again.
Yeah, and then by the time we were in the present,
Yeah.
we were almost in go mode, so
Mm-hmm.
A lot of running around.
yeah.
And that castle was just stacked with stuff.
Yeah, castle and library.
Yes.
So, Planeswater, I gotta ask, when you found the sash and the double jump in the library, after you'd already gone through Ilana's towers, how did you feel?
Oh boy. I mean, I don't know. I wasn't gonna. I thought like when I got the Twin Pyramid keys in Ilana's tower, the second chest there that I usually get, I was like, well, one play would be to leave, but I had light wall. I thought that there was no. I don't know. You can't just abandon so many checks. But it was a play, and it would have worked.
Sometimes
Yep.
going to look for more
Mhm.
verticality works, and sometimes it doesn't. That's
Yeah.
just, rando's gonna rando.
Yeah. In the, I guess we haven't really talked too much about the first seed.
No, we didn't at all. So if you have any
that-
comments about the first seed, if you still
Yeah, I
remember
guess-
it.
Well, I feel like forgetting about Bombardiers helped me out there because it like led me into Zarian Caves, found my B card,
Hmm.
and then I had a fewer pool of checks for my D card. So
We actually mentioned that early on. Since you missed that D key card in Bombardiers, you went into Zarian Caves. It forced you into Zarian Caves early, which did end up working to your advantage in this particular seed.
Yeah.
We were worried you were never going to find the D key card, though, because who checks Bombardiers, really?
yeah, I don't know if I would have had the ability to get it with time stop. I guess when I checked Bat Ledge, I didn't do that as well. It happens.
Yeah,
People
I
just
went to
don't double back for it. It's
I did, and it was not the correct play.
Well, it could have been. We got really excited for you because if you had found the B key card at any point that wasn't in Zarian Caves, then you could have just, moved straight through the endgame area. But it led you astray.
Yeah, the quick Bombardiers check was basically only value if I found something immediately useful. Otherwise, I had to go back that path anyway.
Mm-hmm.
And
That was
I
a
gotta
great
tell
couple
you,
of seeds. Yeah.
Oh boy.
in our
Yeah,
second seed, when we got the water mask in the castle loop again, it's like, well, here we go again.
Oh yeah.
It's the same seed.
I was like, this is familiar.
In the second seed, I thought it was very interesting. You had even less room to kind of make decisions for the early part of the seed.
Yeah,
You
for a
just going
while.
to get the water mask and then
Yeah,
going
gotta be
through the Maw
thorough in
Cave.
case. Yeah, gotta be thorough in case Swim Pyramid keys are right there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and was our routing pretty similar toward the end? I did Emperor's Tower and then Varnagroth Towers.
Pretty similar. Pretty dang similar.
I did the same.
Mm-hmm. I did want to comment, Planeswater, you had a little bit of a panic at the start with Blood Orb and the dummy.
Is there like a frame perfect pause where the hitbox doesn't appear or something? It was not taking damage.
You have to be a specific distance from the dummy. If you're too close, it doesn't work. Blood Orb is just the worst for the dummy.
Well, I feel like I haven't run into that with Blood Orb before, but it happens.
It's the worst for the dummy. It's just it's finicky and not intended to be used there.
Right.
And so the dummy just is, We were wondering that maybe you haven't had that many seeds where that happened.
I mean, there's always been issues hitting it with Blood Orb, but I hadn't ever run into the issue where I just couldn't hit it at all. And I guess distance was it?
I think you were too close.
You were too close.
Yeah.
Good to know. I did not know that either.
Yeah, Blood Orb is weird. Mark does have a good point, though, that wood doesn't bleed well. So, makes sense.
That's true.
That was amazing, though. That was a great finale. I'm so glad we got to do 2 of them. I'm sure that your heart rates will come down eventually.
Yep.
Take a nice deep breath. Both of you did amazing. It was a great watch. You should check out the runs when you have calmed down a little bit.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Yep.
Both of you
Sure.
made it great through the tournament. It's congratulations to Crimdahl, but no less to get this far, Planeswater, in being a newish person to the community is no small feat.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah, for sure.
Well, new to the game in a way. I only played vanilla Timespinner in June for the first time.
Yeah, new-ish to the community in general, we'll say.
And you've been showing marked improvement, not only since then, but also just since the start of this tournament. I feel like watching you improve and seeing you get better over the course of the races has been an absolute joy. You've been an excellent runner.
Yeah, fully agree with that.
Yeah, I was going to say that. Yeah, most of my improvement has been during the tournament.
The best way to improve is to put yourself under a lot of stress.
Yep.
Pressure and deadlines. Well, good. Congratulations, both of you. Crimdahl, you are the sole champion of our tournament.
Yeah,
It's been a
GG.
great
Congrats
tournament.
on the
I've
win.
loved it so much.
Been a fantastic tournament.
Do we
Make
have
sure
any-
that you follow both of our runners, Planeswater and Crimdahl. Shout outs to SpeedGaming again for hosting this tournament. If you want to know more about Timespinner, join the Timespinner Discord. It's the home of both the official Timespinner and the Timespinner Randomizer. Any other shout outs? Any last words?
I think we should probably shout out Batty Mass Index, who I believe is hosting one of our
Yes.
foreign language restreams.
The German restream just rated us. Batty was hosting that as well. It's so great to have such a diverse community that we can have the restreams also in different languages. And thanks to Bonsai, who has been our helper behind the scenes, setting up basically most of these runs and fixing so many bugs and making everything run smoothly. It's been great. Yeah, any other comments?
Oh, thanks everyone. Thanks so much.
It's a
All right.
wonderful community. If you want like what you saw and want to hop in and join us, you can pick up the game on Steam and then download the randomizer for free, and we'd be happy to have you.
Very beginner friendly. Got a built-in item tracker. We love new people joining the community. The like you said earlier, the Timespinner Discord is both the official game Discord as well as the home for the randomizer. But I believe with no other comments, normally I would say I would see you in the next one, but there are no more for this tournament. But maybe we'll see you in the next tournament in the future.
Always happy to see new people join in, and honestly, I feel this game is very accessible. So you too could be the next Planeswater.
Or less stressful, just chill and be like me and not good at it. But we will say goodbye, good night, good evening, good morning, whatever time zone you are in, and take care for the rest of the weekend.
Yep. Thanks for watching.